Bayern Munich versus Real Madrid in the Champions League semifinal. First leg ended 2-2. Let's go over the 4 goals. Welcome to Campfire Football. I'm Sebastian North. Bayern Munich started the game very, very well. They ended up just going behind on Real Madrid's first shot, Vinicius Jr. scoring. So let's take a look at how this goal materialized. One of the things that Thomas Tuchel said about Real Madrid is 10 seconds before they score, it never looks like they're actually about to. And then bang, it happens quickly. So Toni Kroos starts with the ball. He likes to pick it up deep. Here he is playing it to Rudiger. And then he will get it back. And this is something Toni Kroos does a lot. He likes to be in a position on the right or left side of the defense with the left and right fullback pushing up. He likes to tuck in behind them because there's an enormous amount of space there. And Toni Kroos is the type of player who, with his head up, with time to pick out a pass, can deliver the ball pretty much anywhere on a dime. And so it's very dangerous leaving him open. This is why he takes up these positions. So here he is getting the ball out wide, and he takes a look upfield, and Lucas Vazquez checks back in, and so he gives him the ball. Now, Bayern Munich defensively have a pretty good setup here. They're not in any kind of trouble. There's not really many options. Valverde maybe, but Leroy Sané here does a very good job of cutting him out and forcing Vazquez to have limited options. The problem for Bayern Munich here is Harry Kane is ball watching. You can just see him, he's looking at the ball, and Toni Kroos just drifts off his shoulder, and Lucas Vazquez has an out. Leroy Sané did everything right, but if Harry Kane gets in and helps pinch into this space here, Bayern Munich cut out this ball, and maybe you can go on a counterattack or whatever. Instead, the ball slides through, and now you have Toni Kroos, who was in a right back position, now picking the ball up in the base of midfield, where he is far more dangerous. Right here, what Bayern Munich should have done, in my opinion, Leon Goretzka or Konrad Laimer, I would think Leon Goretzka, because he's the closest, needs to go and pressure the ball. What you want to make Toni Kroos do is play the ball back. This is where Nacho is just out of your picture, or Ferland Mendy. You want the ball to go over here, maybe, or just backwards in general. The other issue is Konrad Laimer and Jamal Musiala. They are leaving a giant gap right in the middle, and the ball from Toni Kroos into Vinicius Jr.'s feet here is what makes Kim Min-jae chase Vinicius Jr. If Konrad Laimer can tuck in just a little bit more, or Jamal Musiala, they deny this. But Kim Min-jae goes sprinting in, and as soon as Vinicius Jr. turns, Kim Min-jae sees him and realizes, oh God, I'm in trouble. Meanwhile, look at Goretzka and Laimer, they're square. And so then you've got Toni Kroos with the ability to pick the pass. He splits 4 Bayern Munich players all at once through the giant gap. And this is an important thing to note. The ball is now just entering the penalty area. Manuel Neuer is the guy you would expect as a goalkeeper to be there in that situation. He's not. Vinicius Jr. tucks it away. Kim Min-jae, right after the goal was scored, could be seen sort of remonstrating towards Joshua Kimmich. So Toni Kroos is coming in here with the ball, and once Kim Min-jae actually follows Vinicius Jr., he leaves the gap here. Now, if you look at the distance between these 3 center backs, it's actually fine. They are pretty well balanced, and you have to pay attention to Rodrigo, because if Kimmich were to drop in here, Toni Kroos would just switch the ball out to Rodrigo, who would be able to attack. And obviously Kim Min-jae getting done right here. There's no communication. And I think Neuer needs to be the one to recognize, I've got to come out here, because if this ball gets played through, I need to clean it up. And Neuer, he's going to take 2 steps forward, and now he stops and takes 1 step back and waits, and now the ball is in the penalty area. He could have easily cleaned this up if he was a little quicker off his line. Goretzka here with his arms up like, oh no! That was Real Madrid's very first shot of the game. Bayern Munich had been in total control, and not much changed after that, but it did take until the second half for Bayern to make their comeback. Leroy Sané would get the equalizing goal, and very similar to the first one, this is a question of not putting enough pressure on the ball at the right moments. So first, what we see here is Rafael Guerreiro making a run forward, which forces Lucas Vazquez to follow him. Mazraoui gets the ball and does not have a whole lot of options. There's 3 Real Madrid players nearby. Musiala is about to make a little darting run to try and get the split, but Tchouaméni recognizes it and follows him. So now it's a 1-on-2 here. Mazraoui has pressure. Dyer is giving him a withdrawn option, but it looks like Bellingham's kind of cutting that out. So Valverde being free, he should just get in here and pressure Mazraoui. Instead, you can just see for a second they just stand still. And this allows the split to Konrad Laimer, and so as soon as he gets the ball, he is able to go into midfield. If you're Toni Kroos or Aurelien Tchouaméni here, the one thing you want to try and do is force Konrad Laimer to maybe, again, go backwards, maybe switch the play, maybe try and do something intricate out here. But what you don't want him to do is burst forward 20 yards and switch the play to Leroy Sané. And that's exactly what they let him do. As he takes a big touch forward, Tchouaméni's backing off, so is Toni Kroos, and now Konrad Laimer has picked up 10-15 yards at speed. He's not a really great technical player. He's good, but if he starts going at speed, you've got to go and confront him and see if he can keep his composure and keep his technique and actually keep the ball. Instead, they let him get to here, then he slows down, picks up his head, and he's able to switch the ball out to Leroy Sané. This is where Ferland Mendy basically pointing to where he thinks Leroy Sané is going to go. I assume what he's saying is, I need a little bit of help, right? Because this is the danger. Rodrigo's right here, and you see Kimmich doing the overlap. This is obvious. Rodrigo needs to be a little tighter so that if Leroy Sané cuts in, which we all know he's going to do, right? It's a left-footed player playing on the right wing. He cuts in and shoots all the time, Arjen Robben style. This is obvious. As Joshua Kimmich overlaps, Leroy Sané cuts in on Ferland Mendy, and Ferland Mendy should not spin. You should not show your back to the forward. Rodrigo is just so late to arrive. The shot from Leroy Sané it was a hard shot. So here's where Bayern take the lead 2-1. So we pick things up here. Joshua Kimmich has the ball. He drops it into Kim Min-jae, and Thomas Müller is going to give a clinic here in how to play in the midfield, receive the ball in the half turn with the back foot, progressive touch, break lines. This is just awesome from Thomas Müller here. As for Real Madrid, it's poor defending as a block. The midfield is completely flat and they get done in one pass. So Kim Min-jae has the ball here. Thomas Müller starts to back off. He's right here. He takes a look over his shoulder and he knows he's got space. Kim Min-jae sees him. You can see by the cut of the grass the way he's just going to break this entire line, and the way the Real Madrid midfield is totally flat. The fact that Tchouaméni is not providing a little bit of angle defensively here and sort of protecting his back line is going to make a big difference. And Valverde is slow to react, to recognize that he needs to drop back. Toni Kroos just gets done by an absolutely terrific touch and turn here by Müller. He probably should have brought him down. He didn't. I don't know if he was on a yellow card at the time. But as I said, Tchouaméni, if he was here to begin with, he would solve the problem. Valverde is still just started running, so he is nowhere in this. There's no way Valverde is going to be helpful if this attack can just go forward, which it does. Müller finds Musiala, and the next problem for Real Madrid is Lucas Vázquez is your right back. Lucas Vázquez is an attacking midfielder. He came through the Real Madrid academy, and though he probably would be surplus to requirements in most teams, he's made himself a role player who can fill in these positions, so I give him credit for that. But he's going up against Jamal Musiala here. Vázquez has no help from Valverde. Musiala is just going to go ahead and take him to school because Musiala is very good. And now we have a Kane penalty. He goes with a slightly different approach here with the hesitation and the look up. Kind of looks very Lewandowski-like. All right, so I feel for Kim Min-jae. Had a rough night. Basically responsible for both goals, but we'll take it from the top. Joshua Kimmich has a throw. He tries to go down the line here to Serge Gnabry, and I think in this scenario right here, Gnabry, what he tries to do is flick it onto Kane. I think he should just keep running and get it down the line. If Rudiger makes a tackle here, fine, they have another throw in. But he kind of just fluffs at the ball, misses it, and Rudiger picks up possession. There are 10 minutes to play in the match here. You have to be careful. You have to defend diligently in all areas, and you do kind of have to run and put just that extra little bit more pressure on the ball. As Real Madrid send it to the other side here, Harry Kane, you can tell he's just too far away from Aurelien Tchouaméni. Tchouaméni can pick a pass, and he's able to hit this crossfield switch, missing Kane, that goes all the way to Vinicius, and this is not a pretty picture for Bayern Munich. Now, Leroy Sané is dropping back. Looking at Bayern here, they've got a pretty good shape. They've got numbers up. It's not a panic situation. Vinny can't shoot, so he's going to fake shot, cut back, and this is the moment here. Rodrigo is just beyond Kim Min-jae. Kim Min-jae is inside, but he doesn't need to be goal side because actually Rodrigo is in an offside position. So Vinny Jr. doesn't really have many options, and it's a good position for Kim Min-jae. But what does he do? Switches up. I have no idea why he did this. Maybe he just wanted to see the ball, but it's a huge mistake because Vinny's little pass here nutmegs Leroy Sané, and now Kim Min-jae, you can just see he's like in panic mode, and he just brings Vinicius Jr. down. I mean, it's like an NFL tackle. And the problem is Dyer was right here, covering as well. So Kim Min-jae kind of went hero ball defending, made a mistake. In the end, it just costs Bayern Munich so much because Vinny Jr. steps up, scores the penalty. It's his second of the match, and just like that, Real Madrid equalize. Thanks for stopping by. I'm Sebastian North. Hope you enjoyed it. Take it easy.